Hi, this is George Alger. Welcome to today's segment of Our Ventura TV. Today we're going to be speaking about a unique literary collaboration. And joining us is Elizabeth Kraus, who's an author, and Karen Fussell, who is the principal of a local school. So welcome, ladies, and let's start off with you, Liz. Can you give us a brief intro?
Sure. Elizabeth Kraus. I am a college professor at Ventura College. I teach critical thinking and literature. I'm a published author, and I'm working on a second book, which has led me to Karen.
Hi, I'm Karen Fussell. I'm principal of Our Lady of the Assumption School, and it's wonderful to be here to support Liz.
Well, great. So let's start out with the most basic question. What is this unique literary collaboration?
Karen, if you don't mind, I'll start.
Sure.
I teach at Ventura College. It's a sophomore level class, critical thinking and literature. And the last few semesters, I've learned of several male students who have not read a book at all, be it through disabilities, through falling through the cracks, for whatever the reason. So that inspired me. I'm a published author of a memoir. But this inspired me to write a book, possibly to engage younger students, especially males. Girls will read anything, a male or female protagonist, but boys want to read about boys. So I started writing, and that led me to Karen.
Very cool. So how does that involve you, Karen?
Well, Liz approached me with the idea of using my students to get a student voice, a middle school voice specifically for her book. And I thought, this is a great idea. This is a great opportunity for our kids to be, on the other side of publishing. They're used to reading. They love to read. But to be at ground level, to be able to have a dialogue with an author and to have their ideas actually maybe show up on the pages, I thought, this is great. We got to do it.
Very cool. So Liz, tell us about how this has unfolded.
Well, it's unfolding, first of all, because of Karen, as I call her, Karen. Oh, sure, I can do that, Fussell. Whatever you ask her, she goes, oh, I can do that. Oh, I can do that. Even before I started the writing process, I met her and she allowed me to talk to students, observe students out in the wild, 7th grade boys, 5th, 6th, 7th grade boys out in the wild at lunchtime. And I'd forgotten about that, even though raised with brothers. But it just started to develop this relationship. And she was saying the students, it helped them. But as an author, I needed that tone and the behavior and the language. So she selected 12, 15 students who volunteered their time for 7 days for about an hour. I brought them donuts, so they were more than happy to help. And they first started out wanting to edit it. And I said, I don't need an editor. I want to know, is the behavior something you recognize, the language, the tone? And they really set me straight, taught me a lot, and really made this book come alive pre-published rather than post-published, that, oh, you should have done that, you should have done that. So Karen gathering these students for me truly helped.
Karen, can you speak about their response to this?
I believe at first they were a little reticent because usually for students to look at material, they go to edit mode. But for them to have a voice, and Liz was great developing that voice and encourage them to speak up. And I think what really just sold them, of course, was this story. It was about a dog and a boy, and it's in their backyard. It's in Ventura. Mm-hmm. So that was exciting. And the fact that she wanted to know about how they spoke to one another, does this make sense? Those type of things. I think the whole package was very attractive to them.
Good. And then Liz, what would you say, I don't know, maybe as a percentage that this impacted your writing?
Oh, at least 60, 70%.
Oh, really?
Truly did. I raised a boy. The name of my book will be Maverick, the boy's name. Boys love dogs. And so it's about a boy, his crew, that's what the boys call each other, his crew, and a dog. So it goes through the ups and downs of him trying to get this dog on this journey. But they helped me with the language. I just said, well, are you going to put that on Instagram? We don't use Instagram, or we don't text like that. That's how our parents text. So minutia like that makes the whole difference in how I was starting to write and how I shifted that. So at the end of each chapter, after we read it, they put BLT, behavior, language, and tone. One said, I wouldn't walk up the stairs if I was mad. I would stomp my feet. Little things little details like that I would have otherwise missed. So Karen selected a great group of kids, and at first she said they were reticent because they thought just there to edit. And then I'd say, I want to know what you think. No, I don't understand what you're saying. Explain more. Tell me more. I don't understand. And so they got into this comfortable relationship with me, and helped me tremendously.
So Karen, since these kids were even thinking about editing, does that mean you selected kids that were, let's say, English, very interested in English?
No, not really. I open it up to kids. I try to get a broad breadth of kids that don't like to read that much, kids that like to read. So I wanted her to have, I guess, the most authentic voice as you can. I had kids that were very shy. I had kids that were very vocal. So I just gave her a good range of students, really.
That's
Okay,
true.
cool.
Yeah, that's a really good point, because at one point I emailed Karen over the weekend. I said, I've got a couple students in here that aren't saying anything. So what I was wanting, and then she said, Liz, they're writing it down, they use their voice otherwise. And I said, well, of course. But I'm used to teaching college students, and they say, well, they say, I don't know. I'll go, well, yeah, I'll wait here until you say something. So I had to kind of tamper down my personality a little bit, but they were great. They came to me, they accepted me, they got used to my humor, and with that, they got comfortable with, helping me, and they truly, truly enjoyed it. And I could not have done this. I am so grateful to Karen for having this opportunity and getting this wide spectrum of students to help me. And
Very good.
Yeah, I had a couple pairs of siblings, and isn't that right too, Karen? If I recall.
Yes, you did. Yes.
Right, but they all had to sign an NDA, and because my book can't be spoken about because it can't be out there in the public, I even said, siblings, you can't even talk about it with each other. I want your own voice. So I think they adhered to it, didn't they, Karen? They were pretty.
They thought.
Loyal.
I think that was very. They took that very seriously. They wouldn't even tell their parents. And it was good because it gave them that sense of, wow, this is really grown up. This is something that I can do. And I'm going to collaborate just with the author here. And of course, the kids in the class, the kids that were in the group. So all of those different things elevated the experience for the students. So
True.
thanks. She gave them a voice. I think it was wonderful.
And even the discussion between them, when someone would say, well, we wouldn't do that. Well, yes, we would. No, you wouldn't. So I even had these counter discussions going on, and which was very rich for me. And then we finally said, okay, which one would be the most believable? And although this book is focused for the male reader, I had the female readers, I have the female voice, and I have female heroes in the book. So it's my aim is to get boys to read, but there's very much a feminine voice and girls in the book. And so that was part of the richness of this group that Karen gathered up for me. And I did have one student, I think her mom teaches, two students, their moms teach at OLA. And one mom said, I understand it's going well. I said, yes. And she says, my daughter won't say a thing. I said, that's the girl. That's it. She won't tell me. She'll say it's fine. So Karen chose well.
Very well done. Well, we're out of time here. So Karen and Liz, I want to thank you kindly for joining us. I'm going to wrap up here. This is George Alger signing off for this segment of Our Ventura TV. Until we meet again.